Hello, today is December 22nd, 2018. The time is 1:06 p.m. Just wanted to talk about, really this video is inspired by a comment that I wrote, which followed a series of comments to an original post that I did, and I'm going to tie everything in together. So the comment that I wrote, that I'm going to read to you in a moment, was very difficult to write as I was writing it, and it stirred up some emotions within me, so just keep that in mind. When I was reunited with my father around 2008, I told him I had forgiven him a long time prior regarding our past. Nothing more did I say. I recall sitting in the room of the hospital setting, wondering why there. I watched him carry my father into the room while he barely shuffled his feet. I wasn't expecting that. He looked up at me and smiled. After they sat him down, and after a long pause, he said, "I want to be on my feet when I met my son." I told him how my life was with my mother, who left him. I told him the physical and mental abuse and more. He was surprised to hear all that. He said he thought my life was the opposite and felt sorry for me. He was proud of my accomplishments, as my life was great then, unlike now. I couldn't understand how he still loved her, even after she was abusive to him. Yet, she always played the victim with other people. She had the perfect cover, a Sunday school teacher. I left my province of origin April 2012, but not before sneaking a photo of him lying in a hospital bed, hooked up to machines. I wanted to return to my province of origin by June 2013. However, my current nightmare began. I couldn't be with my father when he passed in December of 2013 because of that piece of shit female and those two fucktard officers, one of which was since fired. While dealing with all the imposed legal shit in my life, I had to make the decision over the phone to turn off my father's life support. Although I knew this is what he wanted, I struggled with clearing that with the hospital staff. I would have wanted to be by his side before making that decision. Did I execute my father by not being there with him, I wonder? I had his remains sent to me thinking the legal shit would be over soon, and I'd dispose of his ashes properly. As you know, my legal shit is ongoing to this day. I told my first two lawyers of my father's state. They seen it as me trying to manipulate them for sympathy, because I am an accused person. During sentencing, the trial judge, who had no criminal law experience as a lawyer and sat on a committee prior to being a judge with ties to the police, didn't even believe me that my father passed away. A reflection of his character as a human being. In fact, the same could be said about everyone who has imposed on me during this matter. I do not have children, so I don't know what it's like to be a parent. I have had pets, though. But I say it's not easy being someone else's child. So, I shared that story in a comment and now in a video. And my emotions obviously were influenced by my comment. As I said, I have forgiven these people for the wrongs that they've done to me, but it doesn't imply that they shouldn't correct the wrong. And to think all this because of an accusation by a female and two people possibly thinking they were doing the right thing. And I've endured years of a criminal trial. It took years to convict me for obstruction and assaulting a police officer because in the end they had nothing else. And I wasn't even charged that night. Charges were pending, and even in legal documents from their end supports that. legal documents from their end supports that. So a lot of people may wonder, and apparently they're very triggered, when I highlight the fact of the betas and omegas, male, female, and their struggle with the alpha male females. And it's not to be mean or anything, it's an observation, it's something that could be even tested using a scientific method. We observe this throughout history to this day. And again, it's not to be mean or anything, it's a fact of life. And the reason why I focus on this so much, not only after a lifetime of personal and professional life experiences and a lifetime of research, especially over the past 5-6 years of during this time I've been dealing with this, the source of my problems that I've been facing for the past, say, 6 years is because of the beta and omega of the gene pool. There's no question to that. And this is why I try to get that message out to people. And a lot of people are triggered by that, which tells me where they see themselves in the genetic hierarchy. Or if they don't, they let their emotions overrule common sense and logic. Not only has this impacted my life for the past 6 years, but this impacts men with regards to men rights movements, as well as society as a whole. This is a huge problem, and this is, or has been, my message. So I'm going to tie this to my original comment, my original post, and it had to do with an article of a man who was a victim of domestic abuse by a female for 10 years. So some sort of low self-esteem male didn't have the testicular fortitude to walk away from an insecure female with mental issues because he couldn't properly vet this potential mate, makes him a victim over a decade. This differs to innocent males who are blindsided by batshit crazy females who end up being real victims. Let's not confuse the two. I get it. Double standards against men and abuse by anyone towards anyone is bad. So my point with that comment wasn't to be mean towards that individual. And there's a whole series, like I think about 20 comments now since that, like sub-comments. And actually, I'm going to find a part of a comment and read it to you. So after scrolling down, I finally found what I want to read with regards to the male in that article, and I had to scroll through, and there's a guy troll in there who's obviously delusional. But anyway, one of my comments ended with, I do feel for the man in the article. However, would I want to be in a survival, life and death situation with him as a team? No. Would I reach out to him if he was in need? Yes. So my point with that was to say that it's not like I have a lack of compassion, for people if they're in need. However, the reality is you have to be able to stand up on your own 2 feet. And there's a difference with regards to a situation like his where why didn't he just leave? And then people are going to argue, oh, because of love and everything else. And I go into that comment explaining, well, love clouds perceptions. People need to vet a potential mate far better than they do now. And historically, they did the best they could, which was a lot better than today. So it's not like I don't feel for the guy, I do, but my whole point is, I'm going to use it as a descriptive, so don't jump on me, but the weaker or the lesser of the human gene pool, which has nothing to do with race, also known as subspecies. Age, although should come wisdom. Either one of the two only genders, or even social status. It has to do with the genetic hierarchy. And when the lesser or the weaker of the human gene pool becomes the majority, are given a voice and a platform to be heard, and then they start making policies and laws and influencing society as a whole, what we see is the snake that eats its own tail. And this is what society has become. So, and this all circles back around to why I've been dealing with what I've been dealing with for the past 6 years, and why my entire future has been ruined. Because of these kind of people. Anyway, if anyone is bothered by this or anything else, I'm sorry, that's not my intention, but I don't know what to say. There's nothing in there that I have said that is not factual or proven. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.